There's a belief that runs through many trading communities, and it sounds reasonable on the surface. The belief is this: if I had a better platform, I'd be a better trader. Better charting, cleaner interface, more indicators, faster execution. And somehow, through that combination of features, the results would improve. I understand why that belief exists. Platforms are visible. They're the things you interact with every single day. And when something isn't working, it's natural for you to look at your surroundings and ask whether it's the right environment. But the issue isn't the platform, and it isn't the trader's effort or intention either. The issue is a misunderstanding of what a platform actually does and what it doesn't do. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through why that belief fails in practice. I'll explain what's really behind it, why it persists, and how to think about your platform in a way that actually serves your trading over the long term. Now, this isn't a criticism of anyone who has gone down this road. Most traders have at some point. I want to reframe the thinking so the mistake doesn't keep repeating. The logic behind platform as edge thinking is not irrational. It comes from a real place. When you're trading and results aren't consistent, you start looking for the variable that's holding you back, and the platform is an obvious candidate. It's right there in front of you. You use it for hours every day, and if the charting is cluttered, the interface is slow, or the tools feel limited, it genuinely does add friction to the process. So, the leap to a better platform would help is understandable. You're not wrong that environment matters. A cleaner chart is easier to read. A more intuitive interface reduces cognitive load, and a more stable platform reduces execution errors. And there's also a secondary logic at work. Traders watch videos, read forums, and notice that certain traders use certain platforms. If someone you respect uses TradingView, it becomes associated with the quality of their analysis. If you see institutional-style order flow tools on CTrader, it carries an implication that those tools are what serious traders use. And the reasoning goes, they use the platform, they trade well, therefore, the platform is why they trade well. That's a causal error, but it's an easy one to make, especially when you're still developing your own process. So, before I explain why this breaks down, I want to acknowledge that the underlying instinct to optimize your environment is not wrong. It just gets applied in the wrong direction. Here's where the reasoning falls apart. A platform displays a price. It lets you place orders. It shows you your account. Those are its functions. What it cannot do is tell you whether a trend is likely to continue, cannot tell you whether a level on a daily chart carries meaningful weight, cannot tell you whether the context you're trading in supports a long or a short position. Those judgments come from understanding. They come from being able to read what price is communicating across multiple time frames. And they come from a developed sense of when conditions are favorable and when they're not. No feature set replaces that. And what I've observed, and what becomes clear when you look at it honestly, is that traders who switch platforms in search of better results tend to end up in the same place they started, because the decisions they're making before they reach the platform haven't changed. The platform change created a sense of momentum. It felt like taking action, but the underlying reasoning about the market, the quality analysis, the clarity of the framework, that didn't shift. There's also a more subtle problem. Feature-rich platforms can actually work against a position trader. More indicators on the screen create more noise. More tools create more temptation to overanalyze. More alerts and community feeds pull attention towards short-term movement that has no relevance to a trade you're holding for days or weeks. Complexity is not the same as clarity. And for position trading in particular, clarity is the thing you're predicting. Here's where the reasoning falls apart. A platform displays a price. It lets you place orders. It shows you your account. Those are its functions. What it cannot tell you is whether a trend is likely to continue. It cannot tell you whether a level on a weekly chart carries meaningful weight. It cannot tell you whether the context you're trading in supports a long or short position. Those judgments come from understanding. They come from being able to read what price is communicating across multiple time frames. They come from a developed sense of when conditions are favorable and when they're not. No feature set replaces that. And what I've observed, and what becomes clear when you look at it honestly, is that traders who switch platforms in search of better results tend to end up in the same place they started, because the decisions they're making before they reach the platform haven't changed. The platform change created a sense of momentum. It felt like taking action, but the underlying reasoning about the market, the quality analysis, the clarity of the framework, that didn't shift. There's also a more subtle problem. Feature-rich platforms can actually work against a position trader. More indicators on the screen create more noise. More tools create more temptation to overanalyze. More alerts and community feeds pull attention toward short-term movement that has no relevance to a trade you're holding for weeks. Complexity is not the same as clarity, and for position trading in particular, clarity is the thing you're protecting. Traders who have been at this for a long time think about their platform the way a writer thinks about a word processor. The word processor doesn't make the writing better. What makes the writing better is the quality of the thinking behind it. The word processor just needs to get out of the way. That's the standard I apply when I evaluate a platform. Not what can this do, but does this get out of my way? Specifically for position trading, the questions I ask are narrow. Can I see the daily, weekly, and monthly charts clearly? Can I mark key levels without the interface getting in the way? Is the layout consistent enough that I don't have to relearn it every time I sit down? And that's a short list. It leads quickly to a short list of answers. Most of the features comparison that traders agonize over, indicator libraries, automation tools, depth of market displays, simply don't apply to what I'm trying to do. The other thing experienced traders understand is that the platform and the broker are separate decisions. You can analyze on one platform and execute through another. That separation frees you from having to try to find a tool that does everything perfectly. TradingView for analysis, a broker-integrated platform for execution. That combination works well and removes a lot of the compromise that comes from trying to do both in one place. The point isn't which platform is best in the abstract. The point is which platform creates the least friction for the specific way you work. This belief persists for a few reasons, none of which have to do with traders being careless. The first reason is visibility. When you're in the market and things aren't clicking, the platform is the most visible and most controllable variable available to you. You can change it today. You can download something new, set it up, and feel like you made a meaningful adjustment. And that sense of control is appealing when other things feel uncertain. The second reason is the way platforms are marketed. Every platform highlights features as selling points, more indicators, better execution, cleaner design. That language implies that features are what drive performance. It's not a neutral presentation. It's designed to make you feel like it's the right tool and it's going to change something. The third reason is social proof. Online trading communities generate a lot of conversation about platforms. Traders share their setups, their layouts, their preferred tools. That visibility creates the impression that platform choice is a meaningful differentiator between traders who succeed and traders who don't. But if you look carefully at what separates consistently good traders from inconsistent ones, the platform almost never appears in the list. The differences show up in how they read context, how they manage risk, and how patient they are with their own framework. The platform is almost invisible in that conversation, and that's exactly where it should be. So where does platform choice actually matter? And what's the right way to approach it? It matters in terms of friction. A platform that makes it hard to see higher time frame charts clearly, clutters the screen, or creates inconsistency across devices will impose small costs on every session. Over time, those costs compound, and so fit matters. But fit is a narrow standard. It doesn't require the most feature-rich option. It requires the most appropriate option for what you're actually doing. For position trading, that means a platform that prioritizes clarity on the daily, weekly, and monthly timeframes. One that allows clean drawing and annotation. One that is stable and consistent enough that you're not thinking about it while you're working. TradingView meets that standard for most position traders. Not because it's the most powerful platform available, but because it was designed around analysis rather than execution speed. The defaults are clean, and the multi-time frame workflow is straightforward. What I encourage you to do is evaluate your current platform against a simple question. Is this tool creating clarity, or is it creating noise? If you can answer that honestly, the platform decision mostly makes itself. And if you find yourself repeatedly returning to the question of your platform, wondering whether something else would work better, I'd suggest that what needs attention isn't the platform. It's the framework underneath it. That's where the real work happens. The platform is not where your edge lives. It never was. Your edge, if you have one, lives in how you read price, how you manage your exposure, and how you consistently apply a framework that has real logic behind it. The platform just needs to support that work cleanly. In this video, I separate the tool from the outcome. And that separation matters because as long as you're looking at the platform for answers, you're looking in the wrong place. When you stop thinking about your platform, when it fades into the background of your process, that's usually a sign that something more important has come into focus. And that's a direction worth moving in. The complete platform analysis, including MT4, MT5, TradingView, CTrader, and broker web platforms, is laid out in my article at positionforex.com entitled Trading Platforms, Which is Best for Your Trading? And it explains what each platform was designed to do, where each one fits different trading styles, and how to evaluate your own setup without getting distracted by features that don't apply to your trading style. And you can find it at the link below. And until next time, best to your trading.